Hello guys and welcome back to this channel. So this week the 714 method was very good to us as well. This week was marvelous, right? I mean, look at this trade, that trade, and even this trade right here. The whole of this week we were just in trades after trades after trades. The 714 method was very good, right? So in this video, what we are going to do today is we are going to dive in and analyze what made this week so profitable, right? That's what we are going to do. Now, if you are new and you just discovered the 714 method for the first time, you can equally check on this channel. You see a video about me explaining the 714 method into details so that you get much more understanding about it, right? But that's just by the way. Let's dive in. So let's look at Monday. Now, obviously, as you can see, on Monday with the 714 method, we're in an uptrend, right? As you can see, we're in a very nice uptrend on Monday. Now, what are our expectations? We are expecting to push all the way down after this uptrend elapses, right? That is our expectations. Now, with this being inside our mind, how do we enter into the trade? Very simple. We use the three things I've talked about: support and resistance, fair value gap, and an order block. So what do you do at this moment? You look to your left, right? If you look to your left, you find your levels right there and you use it to enter into your trade. Now, obviously on Monday, if you had looked, you realize that we're already at the last high, right? Of this whole trend right here, we're already at the last high. Now, you could have entered into your trade because those are the things that we use to enter into our trade, right? You could have entered into your trade hoping that this will serve as a resistance. Price will push all the way up into here and price will get rejected and will push all the way down, because within the 714 method we are in an uptrend, and if we are in an uptrend, as you can see from here all the way up, our expectations are that price is going to push all the way down. Simple as that. That's what we are expecting, right? Very simple. Now, if you had a problem with this, this is where the bigger time frame comes in. On my last video, someone asked me that why do we use the bigger time frame on Friday, right? It was very simple, because if you had looked to your left, you wouldn't have actually find a level close enough to use, right? Very simple. Also, if you go to a bigger time frame, you filter all these moves out and price gives you this nice trend. So you'll be looking at it on a bigger time frame and it will give you a very nice confirmation that the level that you're trying to enter into the trade based on is actually a good level. You should get into the trade, right? So with this, if you're having a problem with it, you could have just gone to a bigger time frame. I use the 1 hour time frame always. If you go to a bigger time frame, now you see how simple it was on a bigger time frame, right? You can obviously see that price was retracing all the way back to this level that it just broke through, right? Very simple. Price broke through this level right here and we were retracing all the way back into it. Now, if this retracement is done, what do you think is going to happen next? Price is going to push all the way down. And on a bigger time frame, our expectations are that price will take out this last low right here. So if you had looked, you could have just tried your best and mark this level right here. So whatever you do, try your best and leave some trades. Even if you are taking thousands of trades around here, but you try your best and leave at least one, so the price will push it all the way down to this level right here, right? Simple as that. So let's go back to the 5 minute time frame. So now that we are back to the 5 minute time frame, now you are clear, you are sure, you are full of confidence that what price is actually pushing all the way down. What do? You don't even have to hesitate. You just get into your trade. That's it, right? You just get into your trade. I've always told you, if you have a nice level to enter into a trade, don't hesitate. Get into the trade. You are good to go, right? Simple as that. So this could have been your setup. Now, if you are someone who don't know how to identify these levels, let's look at this. So obviously, right here was our last high, right? Price came all the way and broke through it. Very simple. Now, this was a very nice low. When price pushes all the way down and breaks through this low right here, you get into your trade, right? If price breaks through here, you get into your trade because you know we are pushing all the way down. So you could have equally tried your best and just mark this level right here if you are someone who don't actually know how to get into the trade based on these levels. So when price breaks through this, you enter into your trade as well. Now, where do we set our TPs? Very simple. This was a low that you could have used as your first TP. So you could have set your first TP just around this low right here. When price breaks through it, your first TP is gone and you are good to go. Now, your second TP, when you look at this level right here, you can see that there's a lot of buys here. Price push all the way up, came around and tested this high that it broke through right here and pushed all the way up, tested it twice, So that level right there could have been your what, your second TP, right? Very, very simple. When price gets to it, you know that probably there might be a very nice push up or a very small push up. But because you've looked at a bigger time frame, you know that there's a likelihood that price will break through here. So you should have your third TP, or all your trades that you have entered. You should have known that there's a likelihood that all those trades will reach this level right here. So if you are taking first TP here, so let me just reduce this so that you can see it well. So if you are taking first TP here, second TP here, at least you should leave your third or fourth TPs around somewhere here, or you should leave another TP here, probably your third TP here, and you are looking for price to break through this and push all the way down, right? Now, it was a very simple trade on Monday, very, very simple. Price just respected this high and we pushed all the way down. Price was just pushing all the way down very, very fast, right? Very, very simple. So as you can see, your first TP could have been hit, your second TP could have been hit, but because you looked through on a what, on a bigger time frame, you know that there's a likelihood that price will reach here. So your third TP is there. When this third TP is hit, now either you are in 4 trades or 5 trades, you can leave the rest until you see a what, a change of character or a very nice push to the upward side on a bigger time frame or smaller time frame. You see a very serious change of character, you get out of the trade, right? That's how you could have done it. Very, very simple. So let's see what happened. Now, obviously, you can see that that last low got reached, right? Monday was very, very simple and very, very fast. Prices pushed all the way down. Now, this is what I was saying. If you are someone who couldn't have, let me just delete this so that you see it well. So, if you are someone who couldn't have entered into a trade based on here, or you did not actually believe in it that much, you could have eventually entered into your trade after this nice bearish candle, right? You could have entered into this trade after this nice bearish candle. You could have gotten into your trade, right? And you are good to go. Simple as that. So that's just what I'm saying. You could have been in this whole trade. It was a very nice trade. It pushed all the way down. This week was very, very good. Actually, this week was very, very good because we had some really, really good trades. So as you can see, from all the way up to this level, price was still pushing all the way down, right? Just look at the trade. Just look at the trade. A very big trade. You could have been in this. We were in this trade on Monday. Very, very simple trade. And I was actually happy because some people just got to know the 714 method just last week. And this week they used it perfectly and it worked really, really good for them. So I was very happy for them though. But let's go to Tuesday and see what actually happened. So let's look at Tuesday. Now, obviously on Tuesday, as you can see, we're in a what, a very nice downtrend during the 714 method. We're in a downtrend. By the looks of this, price push all the way up from here, all the way up to this level right here, push all the way down. Then we had this nice high right here, and we had this push. So indirectly, price was in a what, a downtrend because this low right here was taken right within the 714 method. So we are in a downtrend. Now, if we're in a downtrend, what do we expect? We expect a very nice push to the upward side, right? We expect an uptrend. Now, I was already in a trade around somewhere here, around this level right here. I was already in a trade. Why did I get into the trade around there? It's very, very simple. I've told you guys, when price is too noisy, right? When you don't understand what is happening at the moment, meaning price is having too much buys and too much sells, kind of like a consolidation. What are you going to do at the moment? Just go to a bigger time frame. You find things very, very simple there, right? Because it's kind of like price is consolidating but it is not actually consolidating, right? So indirectly, it's very, very noisy at the moment. Go to a bigger time frame. When you go to a bigger time frame, you see it's very, very simple. Now, I was using a 15-minute time frame, right? That's why I got into the trade very, very early. Because what made me enter into the trade was I got this very, very clear, or I understood this very, very nice because price was pushing all the way back into this level right here. You can see this level right here, right? You can see that level. Now let me just do this so that you see it well. So you can see this level right here. Price was just retesting it, retesting it, retesting it. So we know for sure that price is trying to find support right here and push all the way up. Very, very simple. So when price gets back into this level, you enter into your trade. Now that was why I was already in a trade around somewhere here when price got back into this level, right? That's why I was already in a trade there. But if you're entering into a trade here, what do? Because you know that this right here was a lot of push, meaning sellers actually came in but price push all the way up. Your stop loss should be below this level right here, right? Very, very simple. This should have been your setup on Tuesday. A very simple setup, right? you buy when price actually push all the way back down to this level right here, right? So when price gets into this level right here, you buy. Very, very simple. If you are buying here, where should your stop loss be? Always below the place that you are buying from, right? If it's a support or a resistance, always put your stop loss below it. Even if it's a fair value gap or an order block, still put your stop loss below it, right? So when price gets to that level, you should have bought just right here. Very, very simple with your first TP at the last high, as you can see. So your first TP could have been here. Now with this, when you multiply it or duplicate it, you get your what your second TP. That is what twice your first TP, right? Now if you are in three trades, you can equally leave the third trade to run. So until you see a change of character, then you get out of the trade, right? Or if you are someone who actually enters into more trades, you could triple this as your third TP and you leave the last trade to do what? To run. Or the last two trades to actually do what? To actually run, right? That's very simple. Or that's just what you should have done on Tuesday. Very, very simple, right? So let's see what happened. Obviously, I don't even get time to actually talk a lot about this again before price push all the way up. You can see that price pushes all the way down, right? The reason why we don't put our stop loss here or inside this is because price can equally push. You can see here, sellers were in. If you look at this candle right here, you realize sellers were in, but buyers won, right? So there's a likelihood that sellers will actually come in before buyers won. But price could have taken your trade, push all the way up to your what? Your first TP. And if you're someone who can actually identify this level, I've always said it, just use the last high. If you look at this right here was your last high. When price came into it, you can see price pushes all the way up into it, retrace for a little, but close above it, and you enter into your trade. You could have also joined us here and you push all the way up, right? But Tuesday was very, very nice. Price actually pushed very, very wild, right? And we actually pushed for a very long time before we actually started pushing all the way back down, right? So as you can see, on Tuesday was very, very wild, very, very wild. I had a this thing a video of that. Is it a short video or something like that? I actually had it on the channel. You can go and check it out. It was very, very wild, right? We had this nice trade on Tuesday, very, very simple trade. So you could have been in this trade. You could have taken your first TP and second TP and you leave the rest of the trades, right? If you look at my trades, mostly the first TP is the most important one. I don't joke around with my first TPs. If I take my first TP, the rest of the trades I can leave it until I see a change of character, right? Now that was it on Tuesday. Let's go to Wednesday and see what actually happened. So let's look at Wednesday right now. On Wednesday, we're in an uptrend during the 714 method. As you can see, a very nice uptrend. But just after this uptrend elapses, price push all the way down with a massive bearish candle, right? You can see that bearish candle very, very big. Now I was already in a trade around somewhere here. I was already in a trade when price was pushing through this level right here. So the reason was that this right here was our last high. Price broke through it around this level right here. So when this push was happening, I know if price breaks through this level right here, I'm getting into a trade. So I was already in a trade around somewhere here, right? Pretty much easy and pretty much simple. Now, how could you have entered into the trade? Very, very simple. You could have already gotten into your trade right there because you know we are in an uptrend and price is pushing all the way down, right? So you could have already gotten into your trade. Just this should have been your setup, right? So you could have gotten into your trade right here, but your stop loss should have been above this high right here. So in any case, price pushes all the way back to the fair value gap right there. So you can see that your stop loss should have been above this level right here, right? Very, very simple. So this should have been your stop loss, and right here should have been your entry. Now, if you're someone who actually needed a confirmation, you could have just marked your fair value gap. As you can see, price gave us this nice bearish move. So you could have just marked this fair value gap. In any case, price pushes all the way back into this fair value gap right here, you are getting into the trade, right? So if price gets all the way back into this bearish candle, you enter into your trade with your stop loss being just above this level right here. Very, very simple. Now, where should you have taken your profits, right? So you just look to your left. So when we look to our left right here, you could have found your levels. Now I've told you guys always, when price is this noisy, when it's noisy means there's just a lot of wicks and just a lot of candles, right? Just go to a slightly bigger time frame. You find things very, very easy right there and you enter into your trades or you put your stop loss or your take profits, right? So obviously, if you go to a bigger time frame, you can see that this is the level that we are at the moment. Now, this right here should have been our first TP. because when you look at it, you can see that there's a lot of massive push. You can see that there's a massive push just right here, right? So there's a likelihood that when price drops through this level right here, price might actually push all the way up. So this should have been our first TP. Now our second TP, as you can see, another massive push with this big fair value gap being respected. So this right here should have been our second TP because we are avoiding this fair value gap right here. Now, if you are someone who actually uses fair value gaps to enter into a trade, you could have just easily marked this level as well because you know the fair value gap was respected a lot. So when price pushes all the way back into this fair value gap, you could have gotten a buy from there and you push all the way up, right? That's if you are someone who actually likes fair value gaps or who actually uses fair value gap to enter into a trade. But that's just by the way. This should have been your first TP and your second TP. Very, very simple. That means we are avoiding this fair value gap. We don't want to enter into this fair value gap and we'll be waiting for price to hit our third TP or fourth TP when this fair value gap is also trying to push price all the way up. Now let's go back to our 5 minute time frame. So when you get back to your 5 minute time frame, your first TP was here, second TP right there. Now, if price gets to this fair value gap, if you are someone who actually enters into trades based on fair value gaps, you could have exited all your trades and you buy from here because you can see that on a bigger time frame, it's respected, the trend respected this fair value gap a lot, right? But that was just it. You enter into your trade and there you go. So by the looks of it, you can see that price came all the way back into this fair value gap. You could have entered into a trade right here, but still your stop loss should have been here because this right here is there's a lot of liquidity right here, right? With that serious push, price can easily push all the way through this fair value gap and actually respect it. So always your stop loss needs to be either at the high of the fair value gap or when the trend is close enough to the fair value gap, just put it at the high of the trend, right? Very, very simple. So that was just it. Now you see what I was talking about. Price push all the way through the fair value gap, but respected it, right? And now you can see that your first TP and second TP got hit. Now with this rejection, you could have gotten into a buy or you just wait for a very serious rejection right here again and you enter into your buy because this level has already proven that what price is going to respect it, right? So you could have entered into another buy and price will probably push all the way up. Let's just as you can see, price will probably push all the way up, right? Very, very simple. So you could have used this right here as another entry because that fair value gap was very, very good. But it's not part of the 7-1 format. I'm just trying to tell you how fair value gaps, you could have used a fair value gap to enter into a trade here, right? Very, very simple. This is the 7-1 formatted. You could have gotten this nice trade all the way down to this level. So your first TP and your second TP getting hit. Very, very easy and very, very simple. Now let's go to Thursday and see what actually happened. Now let's look at Thursday, right? Now obviously on Thursday, as you can see, price was in a very nice triangle trend, right? Now we call this a triangle trend because it's very, very simple. As you can see, price took off from this level right here, push all the way up, then just around the end of the 714 method, price actually pushed all the way back into this level right here. So obviously this is a triangle trend. Now when this happens, we use this high right here and this low right here to do what, to enter into our trade. When price breaks to this high right here and we have something like a break of structure, we get into our trade like that. Very, very simple. When price breaks through this level and we have something like a break of structure, we do what, get into our trade. Very, very easy. So this is what we use, right? Very, very simple. Now, I've always told you guys, whenever things are getting not simple for you with the 714 method, just do what? Look at a bigger time frame. Now, I also already in a couple of trades at the moment, but it was very, very clear to me that we're in a very serious uptrend, right? As you can see, go to just a bigger time, a very slightly bigger time frame, just like even a 30 minutes, all the bigger time frames, you could have seen it. Price was in, we were just in a very serious uptrend, right? Because we're heading for an all-time high. So you know that price will continue to push all the way up. There is no reason why you should be thinking price is going to push all the way down. The only thing price was doing at this moment was just that price was just trying its best to take more liquidity from this fair value gap right here. Very, very simple. So with this being inside your mind, you know that price was pulling liquidity from a what, a bigger fair value gap, right? You get into your trade right here and you push all the way up, or you just wait to see what happens inside this fair value gap, whether price is going to break through it or price is going to respect it. When price breaks through it, you do what? You get into a sell, but when price respects it, you do what? You enter into your buy, right? That's just what you needed. You should have just understood that we're in a what? A very nice uptrend. So with that uptrend, there's no way price is going to push all the way back down, taking out this low right here, or eventually coming all the way back down to this fair value gap right here. Maybe that would be in another day, but not this day, right? Very, very simple. So what you needed was to just see what will happen within this fair value gap, because you can see that it got respected here. Is price going to respect it again, or is price going to push all the way through it? Right? Simple. So let's see what happens. Now, obviously, you can see that with this amount of buyers coming in, you already know that price is respecting the fair value gap. What do? You enter into your trade with no hesitation. Enter into your trade because we are already in an uptrend, and price is telling you that there are a lot of bulls still in the market, right? With your stop loss always below the what? Fair value gap. Now, because the fair value gap is close to this high right here, I recommend you put your stop loss just what? Below that high right there, right? So as you can see, this support right here, you can put your stop loss just below it. Very, very simple. Now, where should you have been targeting your first TP? Now, obviously, you could have targeted this small high right here as your first TP because price was pushing all the way up. And first TPs are very, very important. It doesn't necessarily mean it should be big, but it just means that it should be something that will cover you if you actually get your second or third trade stop losses hit, right? Meaning, when price hits your first TP, your stop loss should always be either at break even, or it should be at something that the first TP can actually cover for you. So this should have been your first TP. Very, very simple. If you multiply it, you do what? You get your second TP. And you probably get your third TP, or just leave the trade because you know we are already in an uptrend and price will likely push all the way up, right? Very, very simple. So that's just what you needed to do. And if you were someone who can't actually do what? Analyze this just like this and enter into your trade, you still could have used what we've been using to enter into this type of trades, this high right here. So as you can see with the 714 method, this was our last high. When this high is taken, you enter into your trade, right? You can see that you could have entered into your trade here, but your stop loss should be somewhere here. That's with this low right here. This is the last high, this is the last low. So your stop loss should also be around somewhere here, right? You still could have entered into a trade here with your stop loss being here. Very, very simple. Let's see what actually happened. Now, with you entering into a trade around this level, your first TP could have been hit, right? So as you can see, price broke through this high just right here. So let me show you this. So price broke through this high right here. You can see very, very nice. Push all the way up. Tried retracing all the way back to it to do what? To retest it. Couldn't. Push all the way up. Now came all the way back, retested it, push all the way back into this fair value gap, and you can see the buyers came in strong, right? You still could have gotten into another trade around here again, and price will push all the way up. Very, very simple. Now, this is just what we do almost every single week, right? This is just what we do with the 714 method. We don't actually stress ourselves that much. We just get into simple, simple trades and we push all the way up. Now, obviously, with this change of character just right here around this level right here, you could have gotten into the trade because you know that this level could serve as a point where price will actually push into, pull liquidity just around this fair value gap right here and push all the way down. Simple as that. So you could have also gotten out of this trade at this moment. But if you are someone who is still in a bigger time frame, or if you are someone who is looking at the trades on a bigger time frame, you could have known that we were still pushing all the way up. So there's a high chance that price will do what? Price will push all the way up again. So obviously your last trades could have been in this whole massive what? Profits, right? I have these shots on my channel. You can go and check. All these trades were there. We actually got it. Very, very nice trades. That was it on Thursday. Let's go to Friday and see what actually happened, right? So Friday, as you can see, we're in a massive uptrend, a very serious push all the way up, right? So what are we expecting on normal days? We are expecting a downtrend, right? Very, very simple. That's what we are expecting. But I've always told you guys, at least just look at the time frame. Just look at it for a little while. Just look at the trend, right? You can obviously see that the whole of the day, like the whole of the day, what price was doing was just trying to pull liquidity all the way down here. So this was where price was just trying to pull liquidity. And on Friday, price did came all the way back into it, pull liquidity, and we are pushing all the way up. Now, what will we do next? What is our next analysis? Our next analysis is pretty simple. Where's our last high? This right here is our last high that just got broken through. Price pull liquidity from a massive location, as you can see, a place that price has been pulling liquidity from. Price came all the way down, pull liquidity from there, went all the way up and took out our last high. What do you think is going to happen? Price is pushing all the way up. There's no way price is coming down. Price is pushing all the way up. Now, if you're someone who was pretty fast, you could have already gotten into a trade around this level right here with this change of character just right here. You could have already gotten into a trade right here, right? Or if you needed a confirmation, you could have still used this level too. You can see that price broke through. It's just right here, and we had a very small retest before the push. So you still could have gotten into a trade around here as well. If you're just waiting for the 714 method to actually manifest before you enter into a trade, the last high was taken with a fair value gap. Mark that fair value gap. Any trade or any trend that actually push into it, any candle that pushes into this fair value gap, you are entering into your trade, right? So this is what your setup should have looked like, right? Very, very simple. So with our entries being with our stop loss being what below the fair value gap right here. And where should our entry be? Our entry should just be inside the fair value gap. When any trade or any candle actually pushes all the way back into this fair value gap right here, we are doing what we are entering into our trade, right? So let's see what actually happened. Obviously, just like that, you could have had a massive what push all the way back into it. You could have gotten into your trade. If you're someone who was just waiting for a very serious what retracement, you could have eventually used this nice fair value grab right here as well. Or you could have just waited for price to either do this, which is after price pushing all the way up, maybe price will push all the way back into this, or probably just give you a what a break of structure right here and you get into your trade again. You could have also waited for that, right? Very, very simple. But Friday was quite simple, very, very simple, right? Price just pushed all the way up massively. It wasn't any big deal, right? It wasn't any big deal, as you can see. Price push all the way up. Very, very simple and very, very easy. So this was it on Friday. You shouldn't have wasted your time that much. This was just it on Friday. A very simple trade. A very, very simple trade, right? So this is what you should have had, or this is what you could have had on Friday. Now, within some couple of minutes, price did actually push all the way back down before we eventually push all the way back up again. It was kind of a mess, right? As you can see, price push all the way back down to this level right here before we eventually push all the way back up. But you could have already gotten out of the trade with this change of character around somewhere here, right? You can see it, right? So this was a change of character just right here. You could have gotten out of the trade. Very, very easy and very, very simple. So this is what we do every single week. Now I'll try my best and be posting the shots about this trade so that it will motivate you to actually get into more trades using this strategy, right? But that's just by the way. I'll see you guys in the next video.